overdue for a rainy April day, and here at almost the very end of the month, we finally got one. Hey everyone, it's Thursday evening's weather for Weather Geeks. Today pretty much unfolded as expected with a rain-filled Thursday and a low-end risk for strong storms. Much like yesterday, the strong storms did not materialize, although we had a gusty line of showers that did push through during mid-afternoon. You're going to see that on this time-lapse video. This is from high atop our tower camera, and we're looking west here from the south side of Youngstown, and a little bit of a shelf cloud seen with this line as it moved through. And whoosh, we had a good gust of wind and some tropical downpours for a time as this pushed through around 3 to 4 p.m. on average this afternoon. The rain, again, unless your outdoor plans were impacted today, the rain's good news. The drought monitor issued every Thursday did see an expansion of the abnormally dry area in eastern Ohio, the panhandle of West Virginia, and western parts of PA. The moderate drought area did not change. That's mostly in areas from 224 north. All right, as of this recording, these are the rain gauge numbers across our area. High atop, or I should say on top of our downtown studios here in Youngstown, 0.71 in our gauge up top, 0.93 Latonia, down in Calcutta, 1.3, and an even inch over towards the Clark area and Sharpsville and Sharon, kind of that zone in western parts of Mercer County. Those were the rain gauges. When we look at the radar estimates, again, these are the 24-hour totals taking us back to last evening, and this is going to populate here with radar estimates. The previous graphic showed actual rain gauges. These will be estimates by the radar. It takes a second for this to to load up. A little bit of a slow loading graphic because there's a lot of data involved in this. There were flood advisories out earlier east and southeast of Cleveland where some heavier amounts did occur. Now, some of these radar estimates down in Columbiana County are pretty impressive. When you click on a couple of these pixels, south of Elk Run, southeast of Lisbon, closer to West Point, 2 inches, a radar estimate in that little zone there, just north of Lisbon, 1.8. These are radar estimates, but over towards East Palestine and near the PA state line, about 2 inches. So we don't have ground truth to those numbers. We don't have rain gauges in those specific locations, but those are some of the radar estimates from earlier today. It rained pretty hard for a while as that line moved through. Now we just have the light rain and drizzle. It's a gloomy Thursday evening across the valley. The line of heavier showers with the gusty winds has now pushed off to the south and east. No lightning and thunder with this still, but still a pretty decent line south and east of Pittsburgh now, and now south of Wheeling, West Virginia, down into the Panhandle. And what we are left with, light rain not only here, but for the NFL draft up in Cleveland this evening. It is not very nice up by the lakefront this evening. At the airport as of 6:30, it's 52 degrees after a daytime high in the mid-60s before our front moved through earlier on today. Not only is the air mass cooling, but it's also drying. It was, by April standards, pretty muggy yesterday and last night, but dew points have dropped from the mid-60s to the low 50s and upper 40s just over the last handful of hours. Pretty pronounced wind shift if you have a personal weather station. Interesting to look at your data today and see that very abrupt wind shift as that line moved through mid-afternoon today. We went from a south to southeast wind to a northwest and at times northeast wind. Speaking of the wind, that's going to be tomorrow's story, especially as we get into the midday and afternoon. A well-mixed atmosphere. In other words, as the sun comes out, the atmosphere will become kind of turbulent and some of the wind energy aloft will get pulled down to the surface. We also, in addition, have a pretty tight pressure gradient across the region tomorrow. As a strengthening area of low pressure moves away and high pressure builds in, we're kind of in between. So you're going to see a lot of isobars on weather maps tomorrow, and that means gusty winds, 40, 45 miles per hour, the gusts that will be possible tomorrow afternoon. All right, this afternoon, the Weather Service in Cleveland did hoist a freeze watch for Friday night and early Saturday morning for a lot of their counties. Now, you'll notice the Pittsburgh Weather Service office has not followed suit yet. They will. Incidentally, the Pittsburgh Weather Service office declared today that the growing season has now officially begun in their entire area, so you are going to start to see, when conditions warrant, freeze watches, freeze warnings, frost advisories for all of the counties that Pittsburgh has in their area. That includes Mercer and Lawrence, as well as Columbiana in our area. And so I suspect at some point tonight, the Weather Service in Pittsburgh will join Cleveland with those freeze watches for Friday night and early Saturday. Maybe some frost advisories in some of their counties as well. Bottom line, if you have sensitive outdoor plants, you're going to bring them in or protect them from one more night, Friday night, and into Saturday morning. A little trough of low pressure moves through tomorrow, and maybe there's a shower or two tomorrow Mainly Route 30 and south, and especially down towards Interstate 70 in central Ohio. Doubt many of us will see raindrops tomorrow. In fact, a decent amount of afternoon sun. Then the sky goes clear tomorrow night, allowing temperatures to drop. And the coldest nooks tomorrow night, 30 to 32, will be pretty common. But as high pressure shifts off to the south, on Saturday, this is a nice day. Warm front will push through, and that means Saturday night will not be nearly as cold, and a very balmy day coming up on Sunday. I think our model is a little too far to the south with the raindrops here on Sunday. I suspect we are dry Sunday, and this will be the warmer half of the weekend because that cold front is not going to come far enough to the south to cool us off. So after 62, very seasonable day on Saturday, what a nice day Sunday. 76 degrees, partly to mostly sunny sky. Now, it was pretty muggy over the last 24 hours. Is that kind of weather coming back anytime real soon? Just very briefly, a little bit of mugginess in the air by Monday with dew points rising to maybe around 60. But that's just a kind of a one-day thing. I think we're back to relatively dry air by midweek. Yeah, it really felt like summer at times with the humidity, and especially when it was a little bit warmer before we started being impacted by rain. Now, the humid air, again, is pretty brief early next week. The warm-up that's coming at the end of the weekend and early next week is also fairly brief. I think the pattern during the second half of next week will feature a trough of low pressure building into the Great Lakes states and the Ohio Valley, and that's going to keep the warmth at bay. So you look at this map at the end of next week. So here we are on May 7th, which is next Friday. Yeah, pretty pronounced trough, even an upper level low situated over the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, and that will keep us a little on the cool side at the end of next week. Whether we have any more real cold nights, that remains to be seen. I kind of doubt it. But the days will not be all that warm. And looking ahead at the longer range, I took a sneak peek at the European weeklies this evening, and while it does not have any sort of crazy cold in May, it also does not suggest that May will be real far above the average temperature-wise. It may end up being kind of a typical May. You've heard me say a million times, the smart money is always on warmth when you're looking at forecasts on the scale of a month or even a season. February this year was just kind of a one-off. That's the exception. And so I still think May will probably come out in the wash as warmer than average, but maybe not by much. I don't see a lot of signals in long-range modeling showing a bunch of abnormal warmth, at least through the first half to even 2/3 of the month of May. That'll do it for me tonight. Make it a great Thursday evening, and thank you as always for watching Weather for Weather Geeks.